art along friends. Today I'm making a paracord keychain and a bracelet, which I'll show you at the end, with a traditional Korean knot called a ginger knot or a SaengJjok Ginger. And so I thought it would be a perfect St. Patrick's Day craft because it kind of looks like a 3-leaf clover. And here's a green one that I created too. And depending on how far you make these loops, you can actually create a 4-leaf version of it. And so I'm going to show you how to make this 4-leaf one as well as the 3-leaf, but we'll start with the 3-leaf. At the end, you can decorate it with different beads so that you can create a fancy keychain for yourself. All right. So all you need is a paracord, and I've picked a green tone one for St. Patrick's Day. This one's about 3 feet long just to get us started because as you can see my loops are a bit bigger. It's about a little bit bigger than 1 inch, I would say. So first you start with your paracord folded in half, and I'm going to hold it with my left hand just like this, and it doesn't have to be a big loop, but I'm just gonna fold it in half, have a little loop on top here, and then take the right hand string here and loop it up and around that first one that you created. I'm gonna hold it pretty firm so that I can maintain this shape right here. This is gonna be one of your first clover leaves. So I'm gonna hold it and hold this paracord in place so that I can then take my left hand again and create another loop just like the first one we created. So it's kind of like having bunny ears. And with this one, I'm actually going to thread it through the first one, kind of like a needle and string going through the eye of the needle. So I've threaded it through, and I want to make sure that it's secure. So I'm just gonna quickly hold it really quick and then pull this little loop down more so that I'm actually getting rid of the first initial loop I created and making this bottom one bigger. This is going to be my second clover leaf. And so you're left with this strand on the left and 2 loops on the bottom, as well as this little guy that we've threaded through. And so I'm going to hold everything with my left hand in the middle right here to hold it firm and secure. And then I'm going to take this part from the first leaf that I've created down here and the loose end and bring this up partially to that new loop that I've threaded through. It becomes this kind of loop that's kind of halved. So here I've created this top hole, and that's where I'm going to thread the left strand from back to front, creating my 3rd clover leaf, and then bringing these guys back down, the ones that I brought up, bring it back down through that loop, which then makes this strand that I brought from the left hand side fold up a little bit. So now I still have my first leaf that I created, I have my second one, and the last leaf that I've just created. And when I let go of my left hand, I'm going to start seeing this kind of rectangular tile shape forming, and that's the shape that I want to keep as I bring my threads together and start tightening my paracord to create the 3-leaf clover shape. So I'm just gonna tug and pull on different directions so that I can start getting this shape, the 3-leaf clover shape. And you can see that my leaves are currently uneven, and that's okay because the beauty of Korean knots traditional knots is that you just continue to shape the knots as you tie it and tighten it. And there's flexibility in terms of what you're creating depending on how much you pull on one side or the other. So I'm going to spend time just creating the leaves that I want evenly on each of the 3 sides here. All right, so I think I have a decent shape for my 3-leaf clover. So I'm going to pause there for this one. And what I did with the keychain for this guy, I just added some beads and then I finished it off with a weetore knot. You can check out my other video teaching you how to make this knot. But it's a simple X knot with a parallel, 2 lines going parallel on the other side. And that's just how I finished it off and hung it on this little birdie. So that's how you create a 3-leaf ginger knot. But there's also a way to create a 4-leaf one. So I'm gonna take a new string, and this one I want to create into a bracelet, and it's gonna be super simple but super cute, especially for St. Patrick's Day. So I'm gonna have maybe just over a couple feet of paracord. Take my scissors, and the way you start it and all the way up to creating the 3 leaves is the same, but there's just one little step at the end where you will create the 4th leaf for your clover. Okay, so again, you start with your paracord folded in half, and I pinch this top part and create a loop on the bottom as I bring the right hand strand up around and over, folding it just like so, creating my first clover leaf on the bottom right. Then I take my left hand strand and I just create a little loop on top, which I'm going to use to then thread it through the top loop that I initially created. And to hold that secure, I'm going to bring this strand down, creating my second clover leaf right here. And now I'm left with my first one with the loose end on top and this little loop where I can thread these 2 strands up. Just bring it up a little bit so that I can go on to my next step, which is bringing my left hand thread through the back to front in through that hole that I just created. And this will create my 3rd clover leaf. And from here, I'm actually going to bring these 2 strands that I brought up back down through that same loop. And as I do that, this thread that I just brought in from the left hand side will end up folding up. It just kind of naturally happens as you bring down these 2 strands right here. So I still have my right hand loose strand, my first leaf, my second leaf, and then here is my 3rd one that I just created. And I have this rectangle or square shape that I've formed, which is the middle tile that I'm going to start tightening and forming as I pull my leaves. But before I pull everything through, I'm actually going to take this top one that I threaded through and bring it underneath this paracord that's right here, as well as this one right here. And it has to make sure it goes under these 2, but not all the way under the rest of it on the back. So you can see it's kind of, there's 2 strands both in the front and the back, but I want to make sure I'm only bringing this guy through the front ones, and I just thread it through, and that creates a 4th leaf for my clover. So now that I have all 4 and the tile in the middle still, I'm going to start pulling each of my ends and my leaves so that I can form my ginger knot or my clover knot into the right size and shape that I want it to be. So I'm going to keep pulling, tugging, and I want to make this one a little bit smaller, so I'm going to spend time just kind of shaping my knots. Okay, so now I have a nice little 4-leaf clover that I can use to make a little bracelet. So I'm going to finish it off by just making it a very simple bracelet. I might thread a couple of beads through. And you don't need to have beads. You can just finish it by tying it together. But I just thought, since I have these beads anyway, it might be a nice little addition to the bracelet. So I've got my beads in. So what you do at the end is you just need to tie the paracords and create a knot with either side. So I'm going to get this right hand strand and loop it through and loop it one more time to create a simple knot, kind of like tying a normal shoelace almost in a ribbon. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this other side where I just thread it through and another time, just creating a normal knot. And you don't have to do it this way, but I like it doing these 2 knots on the side because then it's adjustable. I can adjust my bracelet like this. So I tie off the ends into these knots, and then I'll cut off the ends so that I'm not left with these long strands. Then I have a nice little St. Patrick's Day bracelet that I can put on. So I'll try it on, and then I can adjust the length of it in the back. Well, there you have it, everyone. There's the 4-leaf ginger knot, and here's the 3-leaf one for St. Patrick's Day. Check out our videos on our channel on how to make other paracord knots. See you next time.